Judge Grayson thought he was dealing with just another teenager who got into trouble. He didn't expect much and was ready to give a quick judgment. But things took a turn when the young man standing in front of him started to speak. The courtroom was packed with people, all curious to see what would happen. The young man, 19-year-old Jalen Dawson, had been accused of stealing a car and resisting arrest. Judge Grayson didn't seem to take him seriously. He leaned back in his chair, tapped his fingers, and looked at Jalen like he was just another lost kid. With a smirk, the judge asked Jalen if he thought he was some kind of lawyer. People in the courtroom laughed, even the staff, but Jalen didn't react. What they didn't know was that Jalen had spent years learning about the law. His mother, Denise Dawson, had worked as a paralegal for over 20 years and often told him stories about her job. From those stories, Jalen learned how the justice system really worked, about unfair judges, lazy lawyers, and crooked prosecutors. While other kids were playing games or hanging out, Jalen was studying legal cases. By the time he was a teenager, he already understood courtroom strategies better than most new law students. Judge Grayson didn't care about any of that. He opened Jalen's case file and made a joke about needing to leave early for a golf game. The courtroom laughed again, but Jalen stayed calm. He knew the judge had already made a mistake, even if no one else noticed. Then the prosecutor, Mitchell Carrington, stood up and began laying out the case. He said Jalen had been caught driving a stolen 2022 Audi A6 and had led the police on a chase through the city. He also said an officer had seen Jalen behind the wheel and that Jalen's fingerprints were found on the steering wheel. It all sounded pretty convincing. The judge turned to Jalen's lawyer, expecting a short reply, but Jalen stood up and told the court he would speak for himself. Everyone was surprised. Carrington laughed and Judge Grayson looked amused. But when Jalen started talking, things quickly changed. He asked a simple question. Was the officer who claimed to see him actually on duty at the time? The prosecutor said yes, but Jalen calmly pointed out that the officer wasn't even working when the chase happened. He asked the court to check the officer's GPS logs, which would show he wasn't there. Suddenly, the confident prosecutor hesitated and the judge looked interested. The judge asked if the GPS data could be checked, and Carrington, clearly unsure, said he didn't mind. But it was too late. The courtroom had gone quiet. Everyone could feel that something wasn't right. Then Carrington tried to bring up the fingerprint evidence again. Jalen nodded and said he would explain that too. He stepped forward, ready to speak, and by now the entire courtroom was paying close attention. The laughter and mocking were gone. Jalen wasn't just defending himself. He had taken control of the whole room.